Everybody, thank you for coming. People have come from like far and wide for this. It's really cool to see people coming from Seattle. There's a Seattle, a couple woohoos. All these guys, they're all West Coasters actually. Not Aaron, but you're not speaking today. Other than Adam, who works with us downstairs, all these guys came from really far away. So it's just super cool to see that with every event, we fill the rafters up there more and more and more. So I want to talk about link building in the enterprise. Because it's not easy to get things done with large clients or large companies that have a lot of different layers of management, let's just say. So the thing for me when I'm trying to get our clients on board, and I think this is whether you're in-house or if you're an agency, probably even more so if you're an agency, is you've got to try to find the path of least resistance. You want to try to propose concepts that people can go, yeah, we can do that, versus we got to talk to legal. Because once you hear we got to talk to legal, you know that your link idea is one, going to not be nearly as good as it originally was, and two, it probably will never get done. And it's just going to sit somewhere and never, ever, ever get addressed. See, we as search people talk about links. Have you ever heard an executive go on CNBC and they get asked by Mr. Faber, so what's your strategy for 2014 with your publicly traded company? And they go, we're going to build a whole lot of links. Right. So if what we do is build links to some extent, it's part of our job, but we need to get buy-in from people way up the food chain, how are we going to do it without talking about links? So it's our job to open their eyes to the importance of link building. Well, how are you going to take a CMO or a CEO or a C-something-o, people make up their titles these days, and open their eyes big and wide and tell them that what you work on is actually important? Because they go, links? I don't want to hear about links. It is your job to learn the skills to connect the dots, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. How do you connect the dots to make link building sound like a no-brainer to a C-level executive in a way that they're actually going to give you budget to do awesome stuff? Because if you go in talking about links, you don't get budget. Oh, I think I can get a bunch of links with a high domain authority. Oh, okay. What do we have left after I feed my dog filet mignon, right? That's what you get. See, to me, so often link building has no alignment with a corporate strategy. I've seen it myself. I've been doing SEO for not as long as Marshall. So what people don't know about Marshall, Marshall introduced Sergey Brin. Name sound familiar to you? Marshall introduced Sergey Brin at an SES show in like '97, right? So when Sergey Brin was launching this little thing called Google, and he was willing to sit on a panel with a bunch of other people from a search engine, Marshall was the one introducing him. So awesome Marshall came, because that guy just has like a breadth of knowledge. So I've been around for a long time, but those guys have been around even longer. So when you think about link building and how that aligns with a corporate strategy, most SEO goes, what is the corporate strategy? Right, because for how long is what we did, it never needed to connect to a corporate strategy. You didn't have to connect a link network or a bunch of low-quality links in a directory somewhere to a corporate strategy. You just did it, and people got high rankings, and everybody patted you on the back, told you were awesome, and you went out and had a good time. So the first thing is, you've got to learn to stalk the CEO or the CMO of the companies that you're doing marketing for. If you don't take the time to understand what she or he is talking about when they're on CNBC about the vision of the future of their company, you're not creating the path of least resistance. See, the concept of the path of least resistance is just to turn back on someone the things they say to get them to do the things you want them to do. How many of you are aware of the CEO swap I did with Rand Fishkin from SEO Moz? A couple of hands? Great. Rand and I switched CEO roles for a week, for those of you that aren't aware. He was the CEO of SEER, and I was the CEO of Moz. I was his boss for a week. And I wrote a blog post on Moz about what I would do differently if I was the CEO of Moz, and Rand said, hey, Will, this is what I would do differently if I was the CEO of SEER. The difference in our pitches to each other is that in my pitch to Rand on what he should change, I took all of his own PowerPoint decks and said, your company isn't doing the same things you talk about on stage. Showed him the disconnect using his own words. That's the power of understanding what the CEO is talking about or doing in TV, in the press. So you just got to stalk them. It's super easy. You can do this. Sorry, my slides are a little bit pixelated. I have a different format for them usually. But you do a site colon, right, and a popular news site. You can set this up for the New York Times, set this up for CNBC, anywhere that's like a Financial Times, a financial site where your CMO, CFO, CMO, CPO, whatever they are, is talking about their vision for the company. We have a client that's really big in 3D printing, or wants to be really big in 3D printing. Their CEO was on CNBC talking about that as the future. Path of least resistance link building says, we're not going to talk to you about anything that doesn't connect with what the CEO just talked about on CNBC. Why? Because you're making it easier for your contact to take that to their boss. Well, why are we doing this thing? Why would we do that? Well, because our CEO has been talking about it for 5 weeks. Oh, so when I go to tell the CEO that we're going to help her or him with their pet project that they've been talking about as the future, what do you think the likelihood of you getting that approved is versus your idea that you don't know whether or not they give a crap about? So you can do this. You can set up an alert for this. Get a Google alert, simple, every time they are on a major site and their name is used. This will help you know what they're talking about so that your pitches should go in accordance just like the water does around the rocks. Most times when people talk about 10Ks, you think of this, right? Which is a bunch of us running a 5K or a 10K or whatever it was to raise money for Alex's Lemonade. But my version of a 10K is this. See, when I'm trying to get an executive on board with my link concepts, am I going to reference like something that Rand Fishkin said? No, because they don't even know who he is, right? I'm going to go to their 10K report. 10K as in what they submit every quarter to the SEC. So you're thinking, am I going to go to the SEC's website to learn to link build? If you want path of least resistance link building, yes. If you want to hear yes in the enterprise, you do this. Because now everything you do connects with their vision and their forward-looking statements about where they want to take the company. I did this for a client of ours who's not publicly traded. What did I do? I went and took all their competitors who were. So when I built a link strategy for this client, everything that I was telling them is like, your competitors, the trend in their outsourcing of game development is very interesting. They seem to be doing this. Is that a trend in the industry? All of a sudden, I got the person talking. Oh, yeah, that's happening a lot, and this and this and that. Great, you've basically given me enough to talk about in the news media. Is that good enough? Can we take it out with your position? Well, yeah, we can. Coming from what their competitors are doing, where their competitors are investing, where they're growing. I don't think most SEOs read 10Ks. Maybe we should start. The other thing is you've got to break down silos. And at one of our events, I talked about breaking down silos. But the funny thing is that any one of these people can kill your idea. My question to you is, what are you doing before you come to them with your big idea to make them friends? What are you doing? You know, I have seen us get, at times, great results and get thrown out. Like great results. I mean, like triple-digit results. Revenue. And have a client go, nah, we're not going to renew. What? Are you serious? Is it something going on in here that we didn't know about? You know, something legal, marketing, PR, brand. These people have influence. How do we make them friends instead of being the SEO team's coming, they want to mess up my press release again by putting in their keywords. Because you got to put the word in 3 times and you got to use it once per paragraph. I love semantic because it's like, can we please stop talking about that crap? Got to put the word in 5 times, says who? So I think as an SEO, if you want to level up and get your clients to do big things, if you don't study the practice of persuasion, you're screwed. See, the books that I read, many of which are downstairs. So if you see a book on a pew, you can take it. That's the rule. So any books on pews up here, not up here, but they're hanging on walls, you can take them. We've got books like on internet marketing, there's Lean In, there's Rework. If you see a book on a pew, take it. Because the books that I read typically help me to do this. It's nudge, it's quiet, the power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking. Books like that help me to understand how people work. If I understand how you work, I can then influence what you say yes and no to. You're not going to read that from the lovely Dr. Pete just yet. The first silo you have to break is legal to me. You've got to break the legal silo, or otherwise you're going to come up with this idea, you're going to spend hours brainstorming, and then you're going to get, nope, can't do that. So I want to work with you to change your strategy from one of prayers and begging, we hope legal gets it through, to how can you not sit around and just hope? Like, that's all good for Obama, but for the rest of us, things actually have to change. So, but this is the average SEO strategy. And when I say all these things, guys, I mean, it comes from what I'm learning here, right? So this isn't to say that this is what we do. These are the things that I'm trying to fix, right? I don't want a prayers and begging strategy for our how are we going to get through legal. What I want is I want to spend a day in a life strategy. A lot of us in here care about search. How many of us have ever taken the legal team out for lunch? Yeah, I see people like scratching their ear, but I don't see a lot of hands up. Take them out to lunch. Understand what makes their lives difficult. What are the things that I present to you that makes things hard for you? You know what? No one ever says that to me. I just wish someday someone would come into my office or my little space downstairs and go, what can I do to make your life easier? Think about the response if somebody came to you and said, you know why I'm here? I don't want anything from you. I want to figure out how I can make your life easier. You think I'm going to not take time to talk to that person? Better believe it. So if we do that with legal, it helps us the next time we go to pitch know exactly what makes their lives easier. You want to make their lives easier? This is a tip from Adam. He'll be speaking later. I like to find things that their competitors are doing. So we have clients who are like, we can't do sponsorships. And we go, okay, legal says you can't do sponsorships. Well, why not? Well, because of this, that, and clause, blah, blah, blah. And then what we do is we take the logos of their competitors, drop them into Google image search, and add the word sponsorship, sponsor, whatever is next to it. And you see all the places they're sponsoring. You go, well, they can do it. And legal goes, oh, thank you. Once you show me someone else can do it, it's easier for me to get us to do it. So are you watching competitors and what they're doing, right? Because you can see all the different places that Xfinity is sponsoring. So if I'm working with FiOS and I get the no from legal on sponsorship, I'm going to say they're doing it, show them the types of sites they're on. Typically, you'll get buy-in. Something else that Moz recently fixed that I've been playing around with a little bit is big companies often have foundations. It is a gold mine for link building opportunities. And what I do, or what I've done for some of our clients, or our team has done, is you kind of look at what sites list out all these different foundations and not mine, right? So in this one, if I'm looking at Oracle, Citibank, and Salesforce, I can see two sites that Moz tools are showing me. Is this tool free, Matt? This is free for anybody, right? Yes. Free, completely free tool. It'll tell you, oh, okay, well, foundationcenter.org, you've got that link being oraclefoundation.org. But CSR Wire, you don't have a link there. But Citibank and Salesforce's foundations do. Path of least resistance link building. When I go to an executive and say I want to do this, they go, so I don't have to, you're not asking me for anything? Nope. Don't need you to do anything. I'm just going to go out and get you some of those links that you need to help you grow the business. The second silo is your own marketing team. You got to break that silo too. See, the problem with great marketers is that they don't think the way we think yet, right? So great offline traditional marketers, they do real company marketing, right? But then they forget about it. Because it's a campaign, right? Campaign's over. Something breaks my heart. Any of you guys know Bugaboo, the stroller folks? Okay, couple. They created a campaign, an amazing campaign, and they forgot about it. They forgot about it. So when I'm trying to sell an executive on a concept around building links and why that should matter to them, this is one of the things you can do. So they built maps of individual cities, and they found places that were stroller-friendly on this walk. So you could take a path through Paris, which is what this is, really cool design for Paris, cool design for San Francisco, right? And everything was stroller-friendly, and everything that you went to on the map had a printout of the map in those stores. So this was great. You didn't have to worry about going a place where a double-wide stroller wouldn't fit. It kept you on a path where that would be easy. Useful? Well, I don't have kids. I'm not one of those people that puts my dog in a stroller. So I don't have kids, but I can imagine you telling me that this is the easiest path of least resistance for me day to day, shuffling my kids around. I might actually take it if I'm in a city. The problem is it was campaign mentality. It was, oh, well, it's over. This was they hired 72 and Sunny. to do this. And if you're saying, who's 72 and Sunny? Right. Start researching other people that do smart marketing. If you don't know who 72 and Sunny is, and you're in this room, you need to know who they are. They do Super Bowl ads. They pitch big shit and get big budgets that we can't get. So if you don't follow them, how are you ever going to learn how their ways, how they pitch, how they get real budgets? So this is what BugabooDayTrips.com looks like today. That is so sad. They have worked really hard. They have hired an amazingly talented company to do their advertising and their marketing. They built something that people all over gave them awards for. And you know what they did? They said, well, we could leave it up, but you know that server bill of $22 a month is, whew. So let's just pull the plug on that mofo. And now it's gone. Poof. Hard work. But you got to know how to pitch this. The problem is you go, oh, it's got a bunch of domain authority. CEO's like, whatever, dude. So I would go get the old data for this. I would analyze how many conversions did we get from this piece of content. How many people followed us on social as a result of that? How much press picked this up? Because then I go back and I match all those to people who I need to be my friends so I can push my shit through. The C-level goes, that thing used to get sales and we just pulled the plug. How much would it cost to get it back up? $22. Well, shit. Plug it back in. Get it back up. The social team who says, well, we don't want to send out your tweets. We don't like you, SEO people. You go, you see how much your social grew after this thing launched? Go back. There's tools that will trend out social. Show them what it did for them and tell them, you know, all we got to do is just, whoop, that's it. There's just a plug. And actually, it's not literally a plug. You guys know how web hosting works. And the PR team who usually hates us, go back to them and say, this thing got all this press. And everybody that comes to it can't even see your great work. It's not about you. It's about them. Your great work that you worked so hard on can't be seen by people who want to see it. And all I need you to do is give me $22 and a plug. The first rule of building any links for enterprise companies, and we learned this because a client challenged us. They said, we don't want any of that RCS crap. We don't want any of your new ideas. We do all that. They asked us to build links without doing anything new. And we took that challenge and we killed it. It forced our team to think, how would I get a client to build links if they weren't going to do anything differently? They weren't going to do any on-site stuff. They weren't going to build any infographics. They weren't going to do any new content. We had to optimize what they had already done. We learned a ton from that, and that's what I'm sharing here. Because most times when somebody says, we're not going to give you anything, you go, we're not going to take that client on. That makes no sense. The first rule is you've got to optimize what they've already done. You want to make friends? Find wasted money. Find times when you hired a Super Bowl level agency and just went, that great thing they did, we just pulled the plug on it. That's how you start building friends. So Allie O'Brien, who's here from San Diego, so we flew our whole San Diego team in so that they didn't have to watch this on the live stream, so it's great to have all of them here. And actually, the client, who is blurred out, is also here, so thank you for coming from Seattle. Allie looked at this client's data and said, well, wait, people, when I look at all the words that use your brand, some of them are misspelled. Okay. Well, then let's go and take a look at the sites that come up when I put those misspellings in. There are sites that are up, that are your misspelling. Oh my goodness, people have linked to the wrong site, accidentally. Like nobody really links to this site on purpose. Can we agree to that? All right, just checking. Don't do any work. We're going to get you 52 links. Don't do anything. We're just going to contact all these people who linked to the wrong site. They didn't even mean to link to this girl with a backpack, you know, the blonde girl with the backpack going to college. So something that one of our former colleagues, who's now working at Amazon, Steph Beadell, did, and I would say follow her. That's why I got her up there. So follow her, because the thing I'm about to show you is something, it's probably one of the most powerful things that anyone has showed me in the last 3 to 4 months. It was just like a mind-blowingly why have I not done this? So, Tweetdeck, free. I use Tweetdeck because of what Steph showed me. There's 2 things she showed me. These are 2 of my columns in Tweetdeck. The one on the left is an asset that we built. It updates every single time somebody tweets out that URL. So if you think about it, how often are you in your social manager and you're looking at, well, who followed me? Who am I following? What did they have to say? My next column over is who's tweeting out stuff that we've produced that our client could re-engage with, connect with, and grow their social. The other thing Steph taught me was if you search for a story on Twitter and add it as a column and use like a keyword next to it that you're trying to target, guess what you're going to find? Look, it's in my Twitter feed, or it's in my Hootsuite. Somebody's looking for a story, email phrases to avoid unprofessional correspondence. I got a few clients that could talk about that. They probably wouldn't mind being in the Houston Business Journal either. Journalists write, I'm working on blah, blah, blah for a story. If you want to get high quality links, path of least resistance, find the people who are already looking for stories and just go, I have someone for you. How am I doing on time, by the way? I don't know. You guys know I'll talk forever. So somebody get me like hook me off or tell me I got 5 minutes. So your third silo is public relations. The number one thing to do with PR folks is training. We have seen that when we go in and train them, they get a lot of value from that. One of our clients has like 60 people in their PR teams. We have to go and do it in like, droves, go out there and train them. But really all you're doing is you're just pivoting the way they do things. They don't think keyword research sometimes before they do certain activities. So we're just training them on that, which makes a bunch of friends for us. But you gotta respect the wall. See, PR people, they've got their own set of contacts. They don't want you as the SEO going out and contacting them. So for how many of us do we run into that wall and go, PR won't let us? Screw that. There's a lot more you can do. Make a friend. Because they don't always think the way we think, and that is to our advantage. You can still help them out even when they say, don't contact our people. That's my list. Don't contact those people. Don't take that as, they won't let us. Take that as like, I'm still going to find a way to get you to love me. Take their influencer list and go, I'm never going to talk to any of them. I promise. I'm going to analyze their tweets. I'm going to analyze what they post. And I'm going to come back to you in 3 months with a report that tells you what your influencers are most likely to want to share. And then we're going to build that. And then you can go ahead and contact them yourself. Serve it up on a silver platter. What are your influencers' most popular tweets? Stalk them. PR people do not know about a tool like this called Twitterland. Twtrland. What I love about it is it tells you somebody's most famous words over a certain time period. So it helps you to know the things that they talked about that people in their circle reacted to a lot. This is social media 101. If I know what hooks people react to the most, so this just updated. The last time I ran this, it was something like people should stop spending time on their professional brand and should spend more time on their client's brand. And it was like my most famous tweet, right? So people love it when I hate on the SEO industry. I don't know why. But these are the famous words of people. So you can see what they're talking about. Take that influencer list and say, these are the things that when they talk about, their audience kind of goes nuts over. How can we write something that would fit that to create that kind of spillover effect? Super easy, free tool, whatever. And yes, I'm sleeping outside on November 21st to raise money for homeless kids. I did it last year. This year I think it's going to be freaking colder, which is going to suck. I'm at around $12,000, which makes me $1,000 short. So if you could donate, that would be super, super cool if you haven't already. So, I already talked about that. This is how you're going to get new friends in PR. See, I love building friends with people in PR. It's not always easy. They're oftentimes trying to protect their stuff, and I don't blame them. But I know how to augment what they're doing and help them to get more value from it. Your last silo is the brand team. To me, brand people, they tend to value consistency. Notice, where's Kristen Bigness? Is she still here? I don't know where she is. She's downstairs working. Oh, she's up there? So Kristen came in and is like, oh my God, you guys don't use the same font on your site that you use in your slides. Notice the same font is on my slides, that's on the in-between slides, everything. It's super freaking tight. The screen that shows up on this screen that tells you how to plug this in uses our company's font. I love that. I've never been a brand guy. She's turning me into one, and it's awesome. Brand people value consistency. So we're pitching a client on this now and got approval on it. You want to make friends with them? Fix their inconsistencies in their brand. I'm so happy one of our clients signed off on this. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Ali O. It's one of your clients. Logos. One of our clients rebranded. Our client is not American Airlines, but they've recently done a rebrand. But it was a big rebrand. They probably spent millions of dollars doing it in time and money and consultants. And when you search for their logo, which you can see, people search for all different versions of the logo. So we went to their brand team and said, people are looking for your logo in all these different ways. And when they searched for you, it was something like 70% of the screen real estate above the fold was their old logo. You want to watch a bunch of brand people get pissed off? Do that. Well, how the freak does Google not know that it's our new brand? And you go, I got you, don't worry. You want me to help you out with this? I can help you with this. I know how to fix that. Now the brand people love you. And you're saying, why don't we just build a page that has all these different versions so that every time somebody looks for it, they always get the one you want them to have? Oh, we love you search people now. We used to hate you guys. Love you. Building a bridge with a team that I know if I build that bridge, we can work together later and make awesome internet marketing babies together, right? Like we can do great shit together if you're my friend, but making babies isn't really a one-person thing. You need a teammate. Don't get your point of contact slaughtered. What I mean by that is don't take your point of contact, jazz them up about an idea, and don't arm them with the information they need to get their clients on board. So I like to talk to people when I'm building link concepts. Let's help somebody make a decision. People are searching this way. Let's help them in the decision-making process, right? People want to know if they should buy a house with their girlfriend. Like many of you guys have probably thought of this. Should I buy a house with my girlfriend? She's a little crazy. I'm not going to be able to get rid of her as easily if I buy a house. So let me ask Google if I should buy, So what I do when I'm trying to pitch a client on content is I'm going to say, you talk about this stuff, but you're not labeling it and talking about it in a way that people seek it out. So how can I start talking to your writers about how we can write in accordance with how people search so that you get the maximum visibility for what you write? You want to get a writer on board with what you're doing? Ask them, when's the last time they wrote a piece of content and wanted no one to see it? You're just there to put a bigger magnifying glass on their hard work, and then you will build friends. So very often in SEO, we talk about things like, we're going to expand on head terms. Screw that. If you want to get that concept through to a C-level exec, you're going to talk about market saturation and decision making. Same thing. Expand on head terms gets you no love. Talking about the decisions people make at different points in the funnel and market set and being at every single touch point in that decision-making process gets you a lot of love. And I know I'm a little bit late. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is something that we've been experimenting with. Drew, are you here? Drew's up there. Harris, you here? Drew and Harris have been helping me with this. I've been presenting this like crazy. I just presented this at a conference in London and then another one in Rio last week, and people are loving this shit. So I'm going to show you this data and then get the freak out of here because I'm running over. We're using Taboola as one of we got a whole big study on this, but this is just one snippet because I didn't have time today. So we have a client that's in the wine space. They had already written a bunch of articles that had already done well. That's the key. Already did well. Taboola is a place where you can basically put your content and it goes out to many networks. USA Today, Boston Globe, all those kind of sites. You guys are probably familiar. Those things we had already gotten links to. So we got links from Fox News and from San Pellegrino and Foodista and Lifehack. So we had gotten links from these things already. So we knew that clients were willing to do this. So what I did is I just gave Drew 10 grand. I said, let's just play with these networks and find out what works and what doesn't work. And we spent some money. Drew spent $1,700 to be exact. And we let it go over 16 days. Our average cost per click was 15 cents. We put a $75 cap on this content promotion vehicle. We got 20 million impressions. A lot of eyeballs on content. We got 11,000 clicks, a decent CTR compared to some of the other places we were, and 82 links. We built links with no work. All I had to do was open my wallet and give $1,700 and let Drew work his magic. 82 links in after something ran for 26 days. It cost us some money, but we didn't have to do a lot of outreach. We started taking different articles the client had written, and now we're able to see which ones got links, which one got clicks, which one did well on social, et cetera. Next time, we're going to have to look at micro-conversions. Like, how far down in the content do people scroll? Let's trigger an action on that out of analytics so we can try to give a client a little bit more of a deeper understanding of how people engage with this. Because you're not going to read an article about sangria and be like, I'm going to buy me a $5,000 wine rack. Doesn't happen. This is high up in the funnel, so we got to think about conversions, because if a CEO says, well, how many conversions did we get? You got to make sure you're pitching on the way in that this is not about conversions directly. It's about people engaging with the content at a deeper level. Track how far they scroll. Track to see if their mouse hovers over any of the social buttons. Tell your social team, hey, we're getting you some social, right? So because I'm late, I'm going to go through this. We started A/B testing. We started A/B testing. Our SEO team is doing A/B testing with Harris's help on how do we A/B test in a way that's likely to get the most bang for the buck. So we're now A/B testing titles for things that we want people to click on that we hope they link to at some point. We're able to look at different sites and what their data was like. Very, very interesting to see. What's really interesting is that you can see the traffic before. So these assets were already getting traffic when we started. They started petering off a little bit. We put in $1,700, and it just kept going and going and going. So even after we stopped paying for the traffic, we got 15,000 more visitors after we stopped paying for the traffic. Because then people saw it and were like, this stuff is good. And they tweeted it and shared it, and we got more and more and more visitors. So the cost is $1,700. Setup time, I estimated, Drew, $300. Cost was $2,000. $24.39 per link. Let's get wasted. That is awesome. So that is all that I have. I will be available for questions later. Thank you so much.